wanted to have an extra income, and also I want to help my family back home. And what I love about this digital business is that we have step-by-step training. It's global. And also we have automated system that operates 24/7.
I love that the digital business is global, it's automated, it's flexible, no need for inventory, and I love that it's very scalable and the lucrative income is phenomenal.
My digital business gives me the peace of mind that one day my plan B will become my plan A.
We earn money passively online while spending time with family.
My digital business allows me to purchase the newest device on the market, thanks to...
And the best part is, even as I'm speaking to you right now, our digital business is still running, earning passively for us 24/7. It never stops.
So what I love about this business is that the huge earning potentials, and we do not have to recruit people because we use that tested and proven automated system, so right people comes to us.
We joined the business because we want to be out of the rat race of living paycheck to paycheck.
Working two jobs is really tiring and physically demanding. Thanks to this digital business that allows me to work anywhere.
The reason why I started this business is because I have a goal of retiring my husband early. And also,
what I love about this business is the automation system that's work for me 24/7. Wherever I go,
I love that this business is flexible and automated. I can do what I love most. Look after my...
I joined this business because I want the flexibility that I can work anytime, anywhere, and my business runs in the background for me 24/7.
What I love about this business is the automation, and
I want to build a legacy now so that I can pass it on to my children in the future.
It's the automated system, the flexibility and portability. I can work anytime and anywhere I want to.
What I love about this business is I can earn extra income.
With my digital business, I work smarter, not harder, anywhere and anytime. I chase.
What I love about the business is the automation. It provides results while you are sleeping, while you're spending time with your family, and while you're out and about.
The step-by-step video-based training that they provided me, and also the fantastic...
Because of this business, I was able to resign from my stressful job and now enjoying my time with my family in building my own business.
Working 24/7 non-stop. How amazing is that? And we have this beautiful community who is willing to help you to be successful in this business. You're not alone, so come.
And we are proud digital business owners. Hooray!
Hey.
Hi everyone.
Hello everyone. Hello Coach Dustin. How are you today? I really love watching those. Anyway, we are back for our daily go live topic, but now Coach Dustin is my partner for today and hopefully for the coming live as well. So today we will be talking about why are you still waiting to start your business. But before we dive into this topic, for those of you who don't know me, you know I came from working long hours. Since our topic is why still starting, I'm not gonna dig deeper. But of course, I came from working long hours, pretty much burnout, and I was struggling financially, you know, for that daily paycheck to paycheck month. And then I was hungry for change. No business background, no computer background, and also I was very very shy, but then I am able to launch this amazing business. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Rosalind Adkins. I am a global digital business mentor. Now I'm gonna give a chance to my business partner Coach Dustin to introduce herself, and then we can dive into our topic. Hi Coach Dustin, thank you for joining me.
Of course. Thanks, Rosalind, for having me again. As always, it's fantastic to be here. For everyone that doesn't know me, I reside here in Canada, Alberta. So I come to you from across the globe, which is amazing. I love this business for that reason as well, as that it's a global business. So you can do it from anywhere in the world. So, I mean, if you are a big traveler and love traveling, you can take the business with you as well, which is great. So, I started this business 6 years ago. Just like you, burnt out, working long hours, missing out on, I think, those important pieces that we all are missing out on. It's basically that family time or living in the moment, right? So we're always taken away from that. And then it seems like life is short, or it seems like when we get to that place of something tragic happens in our life, it makes us revisit what's important. Unfortunately, we have to have those things happen, right? So for me now, I've been debt free since January of this year, and I actually walked away from my nursing job in April. So can you believe it? Being debt free and job free at 39, that's kind of what this business does for so many people. So thanks for having me.
Yes, wow, that is really very, perfect for our topic today, Coach Dusty. Because why are you still way to start your business? So, because like most of us, like a lot of fear,
Mhm.
doubts, and
Mhm.
we'll say that waiting for the perfect timing.
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
would say Coach Dustin started this 6 years ago, and he's able to let go the full time job, and then be able to live your dream life. Like for me, 2 years ago, if I didn't dive into this amazing online world, or take the risk to get out of our comfort zone and be able to start this amazing business, for our audience, Coach, because like, oh, I always love to say this, that nothing changes if nothing changes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can you imagine, Coach, if you didn't dive into this amazing business, when you run into an online ads about this community, about starting your business, what would happen?
I don't know. It's hard to kind of look back or kind of think back 6 years ago, right? I don't know if I want to, because majority of things that I have in my life right now are because of this business, right? I don't know if I would be where I am today if I didn't have the business that I both have, right? It was my plan B for the longest time. Now it's my plan A. Obviously, it's my baby. It's a thing that is getting me through day to day, which is what I love. But again, even today, right? Like it's a Tuesday. This morning I got up and I got my hair cut at 10 in the morning, right? And then I came home. So before, working a nursing job, that wasn't doable, right? You'd have to fit everything in on your day off. So it felt like things were always panicked. They were always last minute. But I mean, for today, it's like, okay, I'm just going to get up this morning, book a haircut, and away we go, right? It's not like I have to jam pack my days before I go back to work. So that's a beautiful thing about the business too. But to be like inundated with debt again, to be stressed about how I'm going to make my mortgage or live paycheck to paycheck, or all those things that I feel like majority of us are kind of struggling with, I would not want to go back to. And I think that's the big scary thing, for a lot of people out there, is that it's too good to be true, or how is that possible? But the thing is, and like you probably could relate to this, I think it's that society has trained us to go to school, for 4 years, 6 years, 8 years, whatever it is, take out a massive student loan or have our parents pay for the loan, whatever it is, and then have to work so hard to finish school and then come out and work an hourly job or a salary, right?
Yeah.
But the problem is with that is that it makes us so comfortable, right? And that employer pays us a salary, or that employer pays us an hourly wage. So we get comfortable in that. And then moving outside of that realm or that space of things is a little bit uncomfortable. So that is where I think a lot of people get stuck, and it's that fear to actually take that leap of faith, or that fear that there actually is something more than the 9 to 5 when we are so trained that way, right? But if
Yes,
I
very
didn't,
much.
yeah, so if I didn't take this journey 6 years ago, then I'd probably be still in debt. I'd probably be still working those long hours. I probably wouldn't have the home that I have. I wouldn't have the freedom that I have today. So
Yeah, you know what, Coach? I really relate to the way how you mentioned that we reprogram to go to school for 4 years or 5 years, then you work, and then you will be comfortable, like for your finances, to
yeah.
support your family. But what like I realized that because I was also going to school before I
Mhm.
dive into this business. I was saving and saving for that tuition, but then I realized, do I really want to do this? So if I commit 4 years or 3 more years. Then once that finish, I will be, finally get started, and then getting the hourly pay, and then paying those loans and all of that. But then thankfully I realized that, you know what, like, I of course I prayed and asked God's guidance if this is the right thing that I'm gonna do. But then something came up, this I resonate coach stories, and then I dive into this amazing business. But of course I had doubts,
Yeah.
I had fears, I have that so many why, and as a skeptical. But let me tell you guys, for people who are watching this, I used to work 72 hours a week, exhausted, burnout, and wondering if it was really the life that, like, I want, or is this really the life that it's supposed to be, like, like what I'm doing. But I realized that one day, I want something that really, like Coach Dusty now, it's a proven that, being able to live your life, go get a haircut anytime without, no, you don't have to wake up on time, no alarm clock, and achieving that time and financial freedom. So back then that was just a dream, but now what I love is that I'm slowly getting there. Not 100% yet, but I will get there. So that's why, for our audience, like, we share this to, that hopefully you can resonate our stories and wake up that, the life that you are doing right now, it's not supposed to be the life that you're supposed to be struggling, just paying bills. We are not here to pay just bills.
Yeah.
And the only thing we have to do is to make that, move. You have to move, or ask God's guidance, or think about it, like, really, I wasn't happy 2 years ago. So as Coach Dustin, 6 years ago, I believe. So, like, waking up, getting to work, and then rush to get to work and stuck in the traffic, and then it's exhausting. Although we are thankful for full time, because that allows us to funded our business.
Yeah.
And now, is there anything, Coach Dustin, that you wanna share of why you still wait to start your business? For our audience.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just like you said, right? I think we just kind of, both of us, hit it on the nail in a way, is that there is that fear, there's that skepticism, right? But what's holding people back? Or it's like they look and they're like, well, that's too good to be true, or that's a scam,
Yes.
or how can that be possible? Or because, again, we are so trained to be kept by an employer that pays us an hourly job. It's like we are then tethered to that person because that is the person that gives us our lifeline. Right? Our lifeline is that hourly wage and that salary. It doesn't mean, when you have a business that comes your way, it doesn't mean you can't continue that, daily job. It doesn't mean you can't continue doing the same thing. It's just kind of navigating a plan B for your life, right? To hopefully be able to move away from a plan to plan A at some point, right? So, or to move away from your current job. So that's what it's all about. So again, for me, and I tell my audience all the time, for the people who are a little bit like naysayers or a little bit scared or a little skeptical, for me, I wouldn't be here on a daily basis and talking about a business that changed my life if it really didn't. I wouldn't be on here with you and talking with you, a person realistically who I've never met in person, just online space. We'll be meeting at the end of the month, hopefully. But I mean, these people that we've never met, we're coming online, we're talking about, we're getting closer with, right? Or even too, with me sharing my family, putting my family on the online space, right? Talking about them, showing them, if it was a scam, if it wasn't real, I wouldn't be doing that. Especially my family. Why would I take people who are really precious to me and really important to me and show them to the online world if this wasn't real? But again, when it comes to too good to be true, is that people can't wrap their mind around the uncapped earning potential that we're getting. We're not used to, making $10, $20, $30,000 a month or hearing about that, right? Again, because we're used to that salary of that hourly wage. Or there are people who make $10,000, $15,000 a month, but then those are the people who are working 120 hours in like a week, right? Or they're working 24 hours and then they're burning out or they're away from their family. So again, realistically, my mind goes to, well, you're just gathering information, you're learning about the business, you're making all the informed decisions, you're doing your due diligence to see if this business is legitimate and to see if this is something for you. If it's not, then that's okay. But again, how are you supposed to be able to, in my mind, my brain goes to, how can you sit on the outskirts and say it's a scam if you don't know, you're not in the in? right? Or how can you sit in the outskirts and say it's too good to be true when you're not on the in? To know what we're actually doing. It's easier to look at something and say that's not true than actually being there.
Yes.
But we're so scared to be there. So it's a scary place, or it's like not jealousy or anything like that, but it's like envy or whatnot, to be like, oh my God, those people are doing so good, and here I am with my hourly job or having to go to work all the time. I wish I was there, but I'm not.
Yeah.
But no one is saying you can't be here. It's just that you have to take that leap and trust in yourself and be like, ooh, let's see what this is. Ooh, let's get all the information. Let's do our due diligence. Let's learn about what it is. And then if we get all the information and you're like, maybe it's not for me, that's okay. At least you made that informed decision. That's what I always tell people.
Yeah, and it's pretty much like Coach Dustin. I would say that it's easy to judge the book by its cover, but really, because you have to get into it, you have to read the book. It's like when you see our ads. There's so many commenting that, oh, it's too good to be true. This is a joke. It's a scam. Those negative. It's just you are judging the book by its cover. But go inside, read, register your name and email, and watch our free workshop. And if there's something that you wanna understand or you have questions, feel free to reach out to us, because we will be happy to provide you with more informations, because you cannot judge the book by its cover. Sometimes there is a cover in there that is really ugly, but then deep inside it's really amazing. The opportunities, the potentials, there's everything in there that you need to change your life. And for our, always remember, there is no perfect time. If you're waiting for the perfect time, you will be waiting for the rest of your life. Because that won't happen. Because I would say perfect time, Coach Dustin, rarely shows up. we always we always busy, and then you'll always feel like you're not ready. But that waiting is actually costing you more. Like, our age is not gonna stop.
Yeah.
We're
Or,
gonna keep getting
right?
older.
It's that procrastination, right? Or it's that
Right.
that feeling, or that's that saying that I get a lot, or I hear a lot, is let's next week we'll try, or next week, or the week after that, and then the week after that comes, and then it's
And
like,
it
well, give
becomes
me one more
years.
week, right? And it's like, okay, but I mean, so realistically, it's up to you to kind of make that choice, right? If you really, in my brain, when people come to me and say they really need a change, or they're tired of the 9 to 5, but then you hear, well, I don't have the time. Well, realistically, my brain goes to, well, do you really want that change that bad? Because for me, when I began this business, I was in school full time. I was doing homework full time. I was at the hospital full time working. I was doing homework. I also had family, and I wanted to change. And I made the time to actually dive into what was important to make that change. No one else can make that change for you but you, right?
Yes,
So
I
they're, like you said,
I
yeah, like
totally agree, because Coach Dustin, when I first started this business, I was volunteer firefighter. Here, the training is pretty much like everyone else, and then I was very committed to every calls, every training, and then I was still taking clients as a fitness coach, and then my full time healthcare worker that I love to work 72 hours a week. Not that I love, it's because I need to. As a breadwinner, we need to divide our paycheck from the bills here in the US, and then feeding my family back home. And also then I dive into this business because I want something more that could benefits me in a long run. And thankfully, and with God's guidance, I am here. It's a legit business that registered to the federal government, and then it's a life changing opportunity.
of course.
So, yeah, for like, always remember, guys, we are here sharing the opportunity that can change your life. Your that causing delays of your being skeptical and that fear. Always remember that costing your peace, your time for your family, and your joy. If you don't make that decisions and change the way how you want to live your life, nothing is gonna change year after year. You will be still in a cycle of surviving, working, stressing, and repeating. It's time, it's shift. Always remember to, you really have to dive in something that scares you.
Right, of
Like,
course.
it scares me too. It scares you, Coach Justin, back then as well.
Of course, I think it scared everybody, right? I mean, you always have that question in the back of your mind if you're making that right choice. There's always that fear, but That is the part of emotion, right? That is what fear is for, right? To kind of have something that doesn't maybe align with your goals or your values, or maybe doesn't align with yourself. So that's what fear is used for, right? To protect you.
Yes.
However, sometimes fear prevents you from actually moving outside your comfort zone or moving in a certain direction that might actually be good for you. And so that was the thing. We always hear to this day, and so many people in our community, that they wish they started their business years before they
Yes.
started their actually journey, right? Or they watched for years and they're like, I wish I started sooner. I wish I started sooner if I had known sooner, right? It's because they finally realize that what that fear is doing to them, and that's just holding them in that same place and not allowing them to step outside their comfort zone, which I think is pretty normal for most of us, is that, the unknown is scary. We don't know what tomorrow's going to bring, but we're supposed to be the ones to pave our own path, right? And that's the beauty of our business, is that now we have the control. We have the ones are in control. And I think sometimes that is scary, because we are giving up control when we have just a job, right? But now you're taking control when you're actually going into something that is a little bit new, and we're not used to that. And so that's what I love about this business, though, is that now I'm taking control of my day-to-day, right? I'm in control of my day-to-day and what that looks like. And that's the beautiful thing.
Yes, and then of course, as what they said, you have to dive in the thing that scares you the most, because the best thing happens there. They're waiting for you. Like, you will take that control. Can you imagine? Just imagine in a minute of how that would be when waking up anytime, you operate your business anytime, but at the same time we already operate 24/7 for you, because we are global and we have the automated system that runs for us in the back end. And then we use the social media never close. Everyone scrolling on social media for entertainment. Here we are using that to create for income streams. That's how amazing.
Well, and that's the thing, right? Everyone is on social media on a daily basis. So that was my thing too. I was about getting in the now, right? Because social media is still young and it's growing every day. So I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm on my phone on a daily basis, right? I think everybody, especially nowadays, is on their phone on a daily basis. So why not utilize social media to make an income for you, right?
Yes, and the income is amazing, non-stop. Can you imagine these people? If you see the people are earning 5 figures, 6 figures, 7 figures, they are real people who've been into your steps. Like, if you're watching right now, been the situations where you are,
Yeah.
but because they push through their fear, their why is bigger than their fear, they become successful. But imagine those people are only been 6 years, seven
Yeah,
years 8 years,
exactly. Yeah.
and be able to achieve that. Who would you want to achieve time and financial freedom? That daily stress. I don't want to have that daily stress in my life, because
Right. But again, it's going back to the thought of most people nowadays. That's what they're trained to actually be able to do, is go to that 12-hour shift and wear yourself out, come home, sleep, and repeat, right? There's no time for family. There's no time for close to people unless you are given a day off by your employer. Makes sense. We all have to have a life. We all have to go to a job. We all have to have an hourly wage. We all have to do that. I'm not sitting here saying you can't do that, because that's what gets us through. But again, what we're all here saying is there's something more. There's something else out there than just that, right? And that's the beautiful thing. And you can build a business with your 9 to 5, right? I came into this, with my 9 to 5. You're doing the same thing. I finally walked away from my 9 to 5, right? But there are people out there who are paying off their mortgage early, that are being able to build, houses for families back in the Philippines, or being able to travel the world, or do the things that they've always dreamed of doing now instead of waiting. It's scary for me too, when it comes to looking at what my pension would have been, when I hit 65 from my current job, because usually what happens is that when you quit a job, you're given your pension, right? So now I have to take my pension and put it in an account. They would have paid me $700 a month at 65. But how is someone supposed to live off $700, right? It's scary, right? That's not a retirement. That's not a retirement egg. That's nothing. So, realistically, another reason why, a majority of us need something more. There's a lot of people out there who are 60 and above who don't even feel like they have anything to put aside, right? And
Yeah.
that's scary. you know?
Yes. So
So you want people to be able to have that, right? Again, that's why we're here to help support people, right? For me, it's like helping other men become financially stable and financially free, just like myself, right? Or parents or healthcare workers who are struggling. Same with you.
yeah, I totally agree with you. But of course, there is so many people that they're happy with their situations. But what we are looking here is the people who are hungry for change.
Yeah,
There's
exactly.
so many doctors, nurses, healthcare worker, engineers. There's so many in different professions in our community. It's just because they may be comfortable in their paycheck. They may be earning a lot of money in their daily monthly or paycheck, but they don't have the time for their family and the time to spend time like for themselves.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
what they don't have.
yeah.
Like if you're doctors but you're pretty much at the hospital most of the time, you're
Yeah.
paying the beautiful home for that bills to keep it.
Right, which you don't even get to live in. So that's like me when I was working nursing. We used to joke around about, you might as well just bring a cot here and sleep on a cot the overnight, because you're
Right.
going to be back to work tomorrow morning.
Because you're
So
living in the hospital.
you're basically you've been living there, especially during the pandemic, right? That was a thing. You're always there. But again, and the beautiful thing about a business that is online, where other people were laying people off left, right, and center, or losing their jobs, our business just skyrocketed even more when it came to the pandemic. So
Yes.
we know that a business like this is pandemic free when it comes to something like that, right? So anything when we hit recession or anything that goes low, it's like when that's our extreme high, because people are looking for that change at that point, right?
Yeah, so for our audience, if you are looking for something like way out and you're not happy with your situations, Coach Dustin and I, we came from no business background, not computer expert, and we were very, very shy. We don't come out like this, guys. Come on. We have to practice,
Yes.
be consistent every day, because the key to success is be consistent, show up, have patience, and have faith along the way as well. But then, of course, then we become like this, talk on the camera and sharing this amazing journey.
Yeah.
So we could be here all day, talk about why are you still waiting to start your business. But always remember, you are the only one who can make that decision for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Change, because nothing changes if nothing changes, you
Right.
know? And then if you are ready, simply registered your name and email to my website. If you want me to mentor you, Coach Dustin, to his website, so he will be the one who mentor you and be coach, and then you will have access to that free workshop. Simply watch the 90 minutes we have live, and we also have 20 minutes recording if you don't have 90 minutes of your time. And then if you still don't understand, reach out to us.
Yeah.
Coach Justin and I will be happy to provide you with more informations. And here you have coach and mentor that will guide you in the entire journey.
Yep.
Is there anything you want to add on, coach, before we end our live?
No, I think you said it all, right? I think for me at this point is just take that leap. We always say that, faith over fear, right? That's what you have to have, and just take that leap of faith. And sometimes that is just what we have to do.
Yeah. So thank you so much, Coach Dustin. We will be hoping we'll meet our time again tomorrow.
Yeah.
And yes, and hopefully for our audience, you got some takeaways today and make that decision for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Then before you realize, you will arrive in your destinations of achieving your time freedom and financial freedom and living your dream life. Thank you so much, everyone, and thank you, Coach Dustin.